Hello and good afternoon to all of you. And pray that your families are safe. Pray that you're mentally stable and that you're ready to face the battle that is in this life. I'm talking about your spiritual foundation. The title of this lesson is Who's a Threat to Democracy? Now, these words have been bounced around in our society. They're casually talked about. And people now have accepted these words as a fundamental way to communicate, a fundamental way to believe, and think that someone or a group of people will threaten democracy. So what is democracy from our view? Well, someone may look at these words as their freedoms, their safety, every part of their lives according to the way they want to live or how they have lived will be compromised, breached, and it's volatile. But who is truly the mastermind behind a threat to democracy? Now, for application purposes of this lesson, we're going to reference these words that are from the world, but we need to truly see the spiritual essence on that threat. And the threat has been there from the beginning. In the book of 1 John, in chapter 3, verse 8, John wrote, "The one who does what is sinful is of the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning, and the reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work." See, the devil knows about sin. The devil knows about God. The devil understands disobedience and unrighteousness and evilness. And from the devil comes a permanent separation from the Lord's kingdom. So when someone looks at this world about a threat to democracy, their freedoms, their ways of living, they need to look to none other than the devil. And the democracy that we need to be thinking about is more so our spiritual walk with the Lord. By setting forth a path that we can see for everlasting life. In the book of James, in chapter 4, verse 7, "Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." We need to turn from sin. We need to stop allowing this world to tear us apart and have us spiritually blind for the kingdom of God. We need to turn away. But by turning away, we need to first go to the Lord for guidance. And then we can become ready to resist the mastermind, the prince of darkness, the father of lies, Satan, so we can turn away from the threat of our souls being separated from the kingdom of God. It is a constant journey that we must be sober-minded and alert as the devil is ready. As Peter wrote in the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. The devil is ready. But are you ready to resist and walk away from this fragile world? A world that will be destroyed when the Lord returns. We need to be spiritually protected. Not just saying the words on who is a threat in the flesh, while understanding the devil is behind all evil. In the book of Ephesians in chapter 6 verse 11, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. You got to be suited up and ready. You can't just talk about loose words on who is a threat. We need to know who's behind that curtain. Who's behind the flesh of those individuals that people are saying is a threat. The devil has been the mastermind behind all sin. Continuing in verse 12 in chapter 6 in the book of Ephesians, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. So we know where the devil came from and where the devil has been roaming around the world. And if you're not prepared, then your soul will be cast away in a permanent separation that is not of God, that does not have His presence. Have you thought carefully about your soul for the kingdom of God? The Lord should be our director, our spiritual guide. In the book of Psalm, in chapter 119, verse 133, direct my footsteps according to your word, let no sin rule over me. God must channel your path. You must have Him leading the way. Be spiritually anchored and ready so that when He returns, He knows that you are a child of God through your faithful and obedient living according to His commands, not of this world and not what people may view as a fleshly threat. All sin comes from the devil. The time is right now to put your soul on the proper path. Seek the scriptures of God in His Bible, or His Word that is in the Bible, and live wholeheartedly to be in His authority and power that rest in His kingdom.